Okay, let's do these. 5, 4, 3. Hello everybody! How's it going? I'm Beuchi and I'll be running Lunistice, this cute, adorable game, and I have 2 great commentators that are going to do pretty much all the commentary work for me, because I have a hard time doing commentary by myself for this game. But yeah, how about you introduce yourselves?
Hello everyone, my name is Mistani. I do a lot of running of this game, and I'm just excited to be here and support Beuchi.
Yeah, and I'm Noxus94. I only run the 100% category of this game, but it will be amazing, and I hope you all enjoy.
And he's the world record holder of the category.
Yes, thank you.
I had to say it. But yeah, we'll be doing the 100% category. We'll be collecting everything in the game, and yeah, let's get into it. Let's start the timer in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Let's go! Woo!
Woo!
September 2nd.
Alright, it's the year 2040-53 or something. And we're playing this little cute platformer here, as you can see. We have multiple movement options, including a double jump and an attack, which will all keep us in air, and we can also combine a jump and an attack to get an even higher jump. And since this is the 100% category here, we will not only just get through the level, but we'll also collect all these cute little cranes that you can see here, as well as some letters, which you will see in a moment. Here, you saw the back of one. We have 4 of them in each level, and they will spell out the name of the main protagonist here, the Tanuki Hana.
Yeah, and basically as we make our way through, you're going to notice Beuchi doing this thing where she's actually attacking, and this actually extends Hana's hitbox just a little bit so that you can take some of these corners tighter and collect some of these cranes, while basically just keeping basically in the fastest way possible, because in this game it's a very bread and butter platformer. It's very simplistic, but in a good way. Meaning so that we don't have any really glitches or anything crazy that's going to speed up our movement in any way. So the only way that we're really going to save time throughout this whole run is by just cutting down more of the track rather than jumping in specific manner or whatnot. Because when we're in the air, when we're on the ground, we're moving at the same speed no matter what. And as we approach the end of this level, you're going to see, since we have all 4 letters, you're going to see these purple blocks pop up. Normally you're supposed to end at that goalpost, but because we're doing 100%, we need to be collecting the keys at the end of part 1s, which unlock the note at the end of part 2. And basically the notes for part 2 basically unlock the story, which I know so much about the story, and I can explain everything to you for sure, not lying at all. And that is kind of the general hundo vibe. And so we're kind of just going to rinse and repeat that throughout a lot of the run. And one thing you're going to notice about the first world here is that also just there are 7 total worlds, which you'll see in a bit, but for now we're on the first world. And a big thing about the first world in the hundo category specifically is that there's a lot of little things that can go very wrong, because this is actually one of the levels in which we use the attack to collect the cranes the most. Because they're kind of strewn along this path. You can kind of see Beuchi doing that little circle motion to basically go in a circle, get the letter, and then get the rest of the cranes, which actually makes World 1 quite scary. Which normally in other categories, maybe World 1 wouldn't be as riveting to watch, but there's a lot going on as Beuchi rounds his corner. A thing to note about stairs, I did kind of lie to you about how our movement never really changes. If we go up slopes, or specifically upstairs, we will slow down slightly. So what you'll see Beuchi doing is jumping up slopes a lot. We don't really know if this actually loses time or not. We just kind of think it does, and if you think it does, you might as well just avoid it, because Like,
we're not taking this.
Why risk it? You know what I mean? It's just easy to just kind of do a little hop, a little jumpy. And then here's one of my favorite parts of the whole run, actually, is this climb here. This climb can either go really smoothly or not smoothly, but it is very fun to watch. And just like that, it goes very smoothly, very well done. We get the last letter of Hana's A, and then we're just going to kind of just run it down to the end.
Again, we're going to ignore the actual gold and get the notes that Miss Donnie was talking about. Because every world, as you already said, is divided into 2 acts. And in the first we always get the key and the secret ending here, and in the second we always get the notes. Alright, well done. And yeah, when your heroes refer to some level as 4-1, for example, we're talking about the 4th stage and the first act in this stage. And we're now in Act 2.
We are now in Act 2, and basically now you can notice we are greeted with a new art style, and with this new art style also comes new mechanics that the game introduced in every single world, for the most part. And the main mechanic of this one you're going to see are 2. It's this blue bubble, which is basically travels on this dotted line. You typically want to travel the whole way, and then this beach ball, which basically bounces us up, and just it's a bouncy platform. We go boing, and we go up. And basically these are the 2 things, but what you're going to notice here is Beuchi using the attack to do a spin bounce off of the bouncy platform. Similar to a spin jump where you press attack right after you jump and you get a big vertical momentum burst. You can get the same thing off of these bouncy platforms with which Jax has dubbed a spin bounce, because it just kind of makes sense instead of calling it a spin jump. So shouts to Jax for that one. And then a thing to note about these crystals that you just saw Beuchi stand on is that these do break if you spend too much time standing on them. So typically you're going to see Beuchi getting off of them pretty quickly if she ever lands on one of these crystals. Then we're going to kind of do this blind jump up here. It's kind of hard to know when you're supposed to jump out of that blue bubble just because you have no vision. So you really have to be on point to just know, like, okay, this is how long I need to spin in this bubble, because otherwise you can like shoot way up and over where you need to go, and you're like in the air and you're like, oh, well, where's the ground? I would like to collect the cranes down there.
Or you do it as me several times and jump out too early and then don't make the jump at all and fall into the water.
You just bonk your head on the thing and you're like, this is cool.
Yeah. Totally what it was supposed to do.
Yeah, so here you can see some more bouncy action. A lot of the times you're actually going to see us avoid the bouncy platforms because they do slow us down. The problem is that we need to collect all the cranes. So you're actually going to see us use more bouncy platforms than we would in another category, such as true ending or any percent, for example. But it is still the fastest way to collect all the cranes possible. And whenever you get the final clan, it plays this little clink sound, and that basically just signifies that you have all of them. And the game does a very nice job where in the top left you can actually see the total crane amount, and you can see all the letters, so you can see if you actually accidentally missed one, and you could be like, oh, I have 134 instead of like 135, as you can see in the top left, which is actually very nice when you're like first learning the category, where you're like, oh, I'm missing one crane, instead of being like, how many cranes am I missing? And so the game does a very good job kind of just signifying that, and makes it pretty easy to learn along. As well as you can just have like certain things, like if you go through a checkpoint or whatever, you can just memorize how many cranes you should have as well. Yeah. You'd be like, oh, I have like 34 cranes, here. But here in 2-2, we're just gonna kind of don't make the joke. In 2-2, we're gonna make our way through here, and you're actually gonna see Beuchi intentionally not touch that bouncy platform. That is because if you get bounced into the blue bubble, it'll actually blue bubbles preserve her momentum, and basically it would make her shoot very far up in the sky, which would mean that she would lose just a little bit of time, because instead of just being able to go more horizontally and just getting into that next blue bubble, she would actually probably waste around a second just like doing this arc motion. So there's a lot of little stuff that goes on too in the runs just to really eke out any time save, because again, there's no like real major time save. For all intents and purposes, this is a glitchless category, So it's really just straight movement, and
it's all about the skill.
Yep.
So I don't know why I'm
pure
first.
Skill.
And Beuchie is doing it really great so far. No mistakes yet.
Yeah. And basically, we're just going to kind of go around here, and hopefully these umbrellas are nice to us, which it's looking like they are very nice to us today, actually. Sometimes that cycle can be very annoying because it can be very perfectly in the way that you don't want it to be, and then you like spend an extra second there just like chasing the cranes around the umbrella like, please come back, I would like to collect you, I need it.
Yeah, especially in 2-2 there's so much time that can get lost out of your reach just because you're on a bad pattern or something. If you do one small mistake, you're on a bad pattern for most of the level most of the time. So yeah, there's
especially
a lot
with the cranes being so spread out too. It's just kind of like you miss one and then you're like, I have to like walk all the way back to get this one crane, and you're like, I'm having a good time.
Correct. Yeah.
A thing about the cranes to mention though is that a good thing about this game's design is that the cranes actually lead you to where you need to go. So if you are playing this game casually and you want to 100% it, you want to collect all the cranes, you want to collect all the letters and get the true ending, you can do that by just following the crane's path. Because the cranes, as you can see, are leading you to each letter. So you never have to guess like which path you need to go down. If you want to collect all the letters and hundo, then you go down the crane path, and if you just want to get to the end fast enough, you kind of just, if there's like two branching paths, you go down the path that has no cranes, right? So you can kind of pretty easily deduce that, and there's no like, you never have to follow one path and then, go backwards to another path, which is also very nice just for the gameplay loop, so you don't have to, some games you have to go backwards, and you're like, dude, I don't want to go back on this path that I just like skipped, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's very nice.
Even in Hana, you just go with the flow and have a good time. You don't. It's not like you can entirely turn your brain off.
Yeah, that's what's nice about this game. It's just really nice to run. The run's like pretty short too if you wanna do 100%. It's just a good time.
Yeah. The game does a really, really, really good job of always telling you where to go.
And basically, as we make our way into World 3, we're going to have some more precarious platforming. So if you can kind of tell by the general vibe already, each world is going to kind of get progressively more difficult in terms of what the game is asking you to execute on and do. And this is most notably seen in this category specifically, since we are kind of, for the most part, taking the casual path. I'm saying that, but we're about to not do that. But for the most part, we are taking the path that you would take in your casual playthrough if you were hundoing, just a bit faster. But now we're going to actually not do that, because we're going to attempt this trick here, where we're going to...
Oh, unfortunate.
Fine.
Yeah, and that's fine. As long as you don't die there, you actually don't lose that much time. Fun fact, taking that loop and hitting that jump saves 2 seconds. So we were really just going for swag there anyway. But luckily, Beuchie backed it up very well and didn't die. It's actually very easy to actually just fall off and die there, because the momentum can be a bit awkward on the launchers, which are a new introduction into this level, as well as these hyperspeed platforms. So these hyperspeed platforms just basically give us a ton of hyperspeed, and basically the hyperspeed cuts whenever we land on the ground, which we'll talk more about in just a little second. But here we're going to go on another one of these launchers, and we're going to see Beuchie do on some of these launchers, not all, but on some of these launchers she's going to use the attack to basically just alter her path on the launcher, because on that one it's just a set path, and we want to get those cranes right next to the right next to the checkpoint. But here we're going to go through this blue bubble, and you're going to see her intentionally not touch the ground there and collect that crane. That's because the green hyperspeed basically goes away whenever you touch the ground. And so you're going to try to, Beuchie's going to try to be in the air as much as possible, as well as, again, back there you saw, she actually had the hyperspeed platform into the blue bubble, which actually kind of kept the speed, which made her zoom and go really fast, which is very nice.
And just as he explained that, we just got past the only point in the game where you for some reason have to touch the ground in order to keep your momentum instead of losing it when you touch the ground.
There's literally only one spot, and that is the one spot where you're like, actually, you do want to touch the ground because you get more speed. No one knows
just
why.
Just to prove everything you say instantly wrong.
Yes, that is really just the spirit of World 3, you know? It's just like, you know, you did just say this, but I don't know, man. But again, we're going to just kind of make our ways to the end of this level. Very, very nicely done. And just pretty smooth sailing so far.
Absolutely.
3-2 is probably the more scary of the two World 3 levels. I would say there's a lot of little stuff that can go wrong. There's not too many instances where you would not necessarily die, but there are a lot of instances in this level where you're going to be like right next to a crane, and then you're not going to collect it, and then you're going to be a little bit sad, and then you're going to have to go back for it, which can eat up a lot of time, especially, you know, the more your time goes down, the more that matters, right?
Yeah, this is also another level. I think it's the level where we ignore the actual path the most and go for different routing several times. And I think we do it a lot in other worlds, if I remember correctly now.
We do it in World 5 for sure. And I think...
Well, 5 doesn't really have a path.
Well, yeah, but we do it in 5-1. I don't remember. It's been a while. I'm so
Professionals,
sorry.
guys.
You're asking me if I remember the actual casual path, and I'm just going to be completely real. I don't at this point. My brain it's all speedrun at this point.
Fair.
Yep. That's what learning a speedrun would do to you.
Here you're gonna notice Beuchi again jumping up these stairs, just trying to not get caught on them, because you can lose it's probably like a couple frames, but we want the couple frames, all right? We just want the couple frames, and that is what I'm talking about. But luckily, those balloons
respawn too late.
Yeah.
So you can very easily miss these trains in air.
Yeah. So that jump is actually really tight, because what you're doing is that you're attacking out of this to extend your momentum, and then jumping at the very last second to collect the crane above that orange balloon. And then if you miss it slightly, you kind of just die, which is unfortunate. There is a backup there where if you take it slow enough, the red bubble can appear. But again, that's also kind of like hard to be like, where is the red bubble? Because it's not there. You know what I mean? But no biggie. We have checkpoints. Again, and just a thing to mention about the game is that we do collect a fair amount of checkpoints. Hundo's probably the category where we collect the most amount of checkpoints, just because if you do mess up something, you would probably not like to restart the whole level, especially in a longer category. For example, in 90%, we just don't collect any checkpoints at all. But a good thing is that there's no lives in this game, so you can literally die like 100 times and you won't game over. You can just always keep playing and keep going, which is very nice. There's no like hard resets to like interrupt your gaming experience.
You exceeded your 3 collected lives. Now you have to restart again. Yeah, none of that.
I had to say gaming experience.
Okay.
Anyway, we're up at the top. We get the end. We're all good. We're gonna go here, and you're actually gonna see Beuchi do the thing that I was saying before, where she's using the attack to alter her path, so that we can actually skip all those purple boosters and just go straight to the railing, and that saves a decent chunk of time, which is very, very nice. And we're kind of just gonna make our way to the end, and we're gonna have the slow rail, my favorite rail in the game. No one knows why that rail is so slow, but you like jump off of it immediately. It's the only railing that you just don't want to touch, because you just grind like a halt, and you're like,
yeah, usually you get a great boost, but on that one you get slowed down exponentially.
You just become a snail. You're no longer a tanuki. It's just Jover for you.
Oh no, we're at the end, and we still have 3 crates to collect and a letter. 2.
Noxus can do math. He can, I swear. There's a shortcut at the end there. The game does little tricksies there, you know. You're like, wait, where's all the cranes? They actually he hides it afterwards, which is no biggie as long as you know it.
You
Just
just
to
have
troll
to
you a
follow the
little
crane
first thing.
after the finish line.
Yes.
Yeah, surely
I mean,
you can
at
see behind that tree, right? Like you like.
I mean, at this point, if you 100% to every level before, you will expect something to be behind the actual goal. So
And isn't that like one of the only places in the game where it is like hidden like behind the goal? Like I don't
It
think
is
it
the only
happens for
time.
the rest, right?
it is the only
That's so
time. Yeah.
troll. It happens in World 3, doesn't happen again. You're just always looking around like.
Yeah, so you're probably going for the entire level again, and then wondering why you still don't have all letters and all cranes. Okay, welcome
And,
to stage 4,
yeah.
by the way, which is the
Welcome
rhythm.
to hell. I mean, stage 4, Candyland. You know, this is the best stage. Definitely not the most difficult. Definitely super easy, fun. Like nothing to worry about here. All right,
It's
so
all
basically
candy and biscuit.
What's going on in this level is that you can hear the music going on right now. There's a snare hit on 2 and 4. And basically the snare hit, if you look at the bottom of your screen, there is a blue note and a red note. So this whole level is on a set cycle and a set pattern. So the red platform appears with the red note, the blue platforms appear with the blue note, and they alternate. So you can see this blue platform appears, and the red one appears, and then they go away, right? And so if you are slightly off cycle, you will almost die like that. But luckily, Beuchi has the plot armor on her side. A thing to note too about these platforms is that whenever they do disappear, they're actually still there a bit because you do have coyote frames in this game. So if a platform disappears underneath you, you actually have a couple of frames to input a jump before you die.
Yeah, thankfully, if you're standing on it, they are actually very lenient.
Yeah.
Yeah, this game has a lot of coyote frames. You can be in air almost for, well, more than half a second actually.
Yeah. And basically, with the platforms always being on a set cycle, you will see. I don't know how much there's in Hundo specifically, because there's a lot of cycles that different runners go for in this category specifically, but there's a lot of cycles that you can choose from, because if you mess up one thing, then you're on another cycle, right? So Hundo is really about being like, okay, I'm going for the cycle, and then if you mess up something, you have to suddenly like advert and go for a different cycle, right? Because sometimes the platforms can be very nice to you and you'll be on the cycle, but if you make like one micro mistake, all of a sudden you're like hurting. So here we're just gonna kind of just play this one safe, and then we're just gonna kind of close it out with a sub 3, which is pretty nice. So
Not bad.
Yeah, that's
solid.
very difficult to end.
Yeah, World 4 is very scary.
World 4 is definitely the big stressor. And speaking of stressor, welcome to the second part, which of course is harder than the first part, because why would part 2 be easier than part 1? Right, guys? Right? You wish it was.
We're introducing double time now.
Yeah. Which is what this level does. So in a little bit, where the platforms actually go double speed, but for now we're just going to kind of just jump around all these enemies, loiter around, and doing a very solid job of not hitting any of them, because if you do get hit by an enemy in this game, you actually lose a second, because you basically get like a little stunned animation whenever you get hit. And speaking of getting hit, you have 3 hits before you die, so you actually can't afford to get hit a little bit. Ideally, you don't want to get hit, because you...
Difficult strat here.
Yeah.
Managed well. Nice.
Durin, I don't remember what you call it.
Dango skip.
Dango, there we go. I knew it started with a D. You know, I always just call him a candy pop, man. It's fun. But here's the double time.
Done.
This is the stressful part where, you know, it can be very easy to miss those platforms, but luckily we only need to interact with one of them, because you can just clear it with your triple jump, thankfully, which is very nice.
Oh, oops.
Oh, yeah, that's also tough.
Yeah.
You don't really see a lot here. You just have to go for it by feeling, more or less.
I'm just gonna be safe.
And then, sometimes, and also it's make it more difficult because these platforms are turned on their side, right? And so it's just like, there's like nothing for me to stand on. This is really cool. Because this game is a bit slippery with its mechanics, just a little bit. So landing on a super precise platform like that can be very difficult to do. But luckily, we get a checkpoint right before that, route it in, so it's all good. We don't really lose too much time there for that little tumble, as they say. And so here is another example where sometimes you can get a really good cycle, like Beuchi has right now, but sometimes you get a really bad one where you're going to have to like wait on one of these platforms as you're rising up, but we should be good to go rising up on this because luckily this whole cycle lines up as long as you are on a good initial cycle, the rest of the way will line up very nicely, just like that. So we're going to jump over these spikes and surely they will not hit us, and then
would never happen to me.
And this is actually a good thing to note is that this game has been patched.
Yeah.
Ooh, accidentally burned our double jump there.
Yeah, and we're far back.
Ooh, yeah. And this is where it becomes like, oh, I died one time in World 4 and now I'm like 25 years behind. And then you're like, this is cool.
Yeah, and Nastani said previously that this is the category where we collect the most checkpoints. And we still have several levels where we don't collect a single checkpoint, or one maybe.
Yeah, exactly. But, it's fine. But as I was saying before, this is one of the few places in the game where those like graham crackers around those like jelly bouncy platforms, similar to the stuff that was in World 2, those actually used to not be in the game. Certain platforms and things have been added to the game over time to basically make certain platforming things a bit easier and more digestible to do, and that is one of those places which actually helps us because it makes us it allows us to have a straight line through that section, which actually ends up saving time, which is actually very nice for us. But speaking of very nice for us, we are at 169 cranes and we are ending this level.
Nice indeed.
Very nice.
And still a good time. You're doing really well so far.
Even with the tumbles, that's actually really good.
Do we have any time for a few donations?
Yes, actually, I was about to say these are like the chillest levels, so feel free.
All right, certainly. First off, we did get a donation before the run, which may not have been heard on stream, so that is $250 from TMS LFT, saying, time for this Tanuki to go fast, good luck Beuchi. And after that we got $5 from Rossi, saying $5, which I assume is related to the price of this game.
Yes.
True.
Exactly. It's a meme at this point that this game is only $5.
And we also got $30 from GiraffeMan91 saying, always ready to those in a bad place mentally. I myself have had my own mental health struggles over the years, so I get what goes on even if the context is different from my struggles. Go Beuchi, you got this.
Thank you.
Alright, and as we get back into it, so World 5 introduces the new mechanic of these railings, similar to the railings from World 3, except that you have these little glowing mushrooms that you hit, and it activates the next railing. If you don't hit the mushroom, the railing does not appear, and you die. So we're not going to do that because we're going to hit all the gold mushrooms, and similarly, these pink mushrooms act as the bouncy balls from World 2. And so if you haven't caught on yet, this as you progress through this game and progress through all of the levels, they all kind of tie into each other, so there's a lot of callbacks and just like reskinning of certain assets to make sure that you're paying attention throughout the game. So the hyperspeed platforms are also back from World 3, and we're kind of just combining all the new mechanics that the game has introduced to us, and we're putting them all in one level. And me personally, World 5 is one of my favorite levels, just because the music is so good. The song is one of my favorites.
Definitely agreed.
And just the level in general is just pretty. Like I'm a big fall person, fall girly here, just like everyone else, to be honest.
F1 and 5.2 are pretty linear, but it really doesn't come off as a bad thing, because you're really still vibing to the music and the level flow. It's still amazing.
So close. Yeah, that trick is actually really hard, going from mushroom to mushroom and then getting up all the way to the top there. Because it's very easy to not get quite enough height, but luckily there's a crystal right there, so that if you don't get enough height, you can just land on the crystal as long as you, again, you jump off of it quick enough. It's all good. And very, very solid 5-1 time. And now we're going into, personally, my favorite level in Hundo. This is really good. This is... Sure. I love 5.2. It's my favorite level. And you're gonna see why.
There's no music playing. Weird.
There is no music playing, which is kind of weird. Maybe that will be fixed as we play the level. Wouldn't that
probably
be nice?
A glitch, yeah.
In 1.5 it will be fixed for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it said so in the patch notes already, so it'll probably happen.
It did, yeah. You know, unlucky. But what is going on in this level? So you notice at the beginning there is a big like tree, and there are branching paths. So this is the only non-linear level in Lunistice. So this is so you have 3 branching paths, and basically if you look at the top right of your screen, those are 3 teardrops. You need to activate these 3 teardrops in order to get to the second half of the stage. And essentially there's 3 different paths to go down to it. Now, in any percent and true ending, we do some funky stuff to basically skip usually at least one of these paths. But in Hundo, since there are 516 cranes in this level, as you can notice, there's a lot of crane spamming going on. And since there's a lot of crane spamming going on, you can kind of predict what we're going to do. And what we're going to do is just run down the literal casual path with basically no sauce at all.
Which will result in the longest
except for here.
Far.
We get a double hit. That's swag. We get some cool stuff there.
Usually the levels are about 2 to 3 minutes long. This is by far the longest with 6 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And a lot of this is just... you're just playing the game casually. This is the 5.2 Let's Play. But if you notice, the only thing that we are altering is that we are going down these paths in a certain manner, and that is because going through them, I think we collect the letters completely backwards, I believe.
Yeah, yes.
But we definitely start with the N. And we are collecting the letters out of order, so we are altering the path just a little bit. But it doesn't matter what order you collect the letters in, as long as you have all of them by the end of it, right?
Yeah, you can kind of decide by yourself where you want to start this level, where you want to continue. You have in the beginning these 3 branches you can take, and they all take you back to the start, so...
Yeah, it all loops around to itself. And that actually, that part is a little scary. Shout out to Kawaza. He hates that these like 3 cranes in the middle of the air. Kawaza hates it. It's very easy to miss them.
They killed several runs, not only me. And yeah, earlier when we destroyed that one crystal on top of a teardrop, we actually got one of the teardrops on the top right, and ever since then we have a part of our music back, which is the drums.
True.
So every time we destroy another ice block like here, we will get part of our music back. What's coming now? Oh, we have our piano back. Nice.
Yeah, and basically that's kind of the mechanic of this level, is that each of the tiers activates a part of the music track. So you have like the drum track, and then like the backing track basically, and then we'll get the lead whenever we get the third and final crystal, which is actually a fun mechanic. It's actually really cool, but it's funny because whenever DK first launched the game, he had so many. He still gets reports. Honestly, he probably still gets reports.
The reason why in the beginning
the
reason why we said in the beginning that it's probably a bug that the music isn't playing is because this is definitely by far the most reported, in quotation marks, bug of the entire game that the music in the beginning isn't playing, and so he made a joke out of it that in every single patch notes, he always says at the end that the music is now fixed in 5.2.
Yeah, and there we've collected the H, and so now we've collected all 3 of the letters in the bottom half of the world, and now we're gonna collect our 3rd and final teardrop. We're fully crying with our tears out. It's all good, and then we're gonna get in a bubble, and we're gonna go up to the second half of the level. There is no way to skip the bubble or getting up to the top half of the level. I have tried so much, but unfortunately in no category can you skip this part of the game, so you always have to get all 3 tiers.
Yeah, even if there was a skip, Hundo wouldn't be affected at all.
Exactly. But that was actually very well done. It's actually really hard to get all those cranes on one fell swoop as you go up there because you have so much momentum. So that was
Sliding a little in the air.
nice. Yeah. Easy glides. And that basically, the biggest part of Hundo is that a lot of the movement comes from like being low to the ground, but not actually touching it, which Beuchii showed off very flawlessly there. Because essentially, we want to remain airborne whenever we have super speed from a booster or from these hyperspeed platforms. We want to remain in the air for as long as possible, because as soon as we touch the ground, again, we just we lose all that momentum. And so a lot of the times we'll be flying just over the ground and doing some very small jumps and small attacks to try and just barely skim the surface of the ground. And that's really where all the technical really hard stuff starts to show in Hundo, is trying to get very close to the ground but not hitting the ground and losing all your momentum.
Yeah.
And this is a very nice 5.2.6.
6 flat is great.
On the dome.
That was flawless.
And now we are in World 6, and as you can tell, we started on in this shrine thing, and then we went to the beach, and then we went to an amusement park, and then just ignore World 4. We don't have to talk about that. And then we went to World 5, which we're in the treetops, and now we are in World 6, which, as you can see, we are in the mountains now. As you can probably kind of guess from the name of the game, Lunistice, we're going to the moon. Unless you're me, in which case you did not register that at all until Noxus explained it to you 2 months after you beat the game.
Yeah.
In which case,
with every level, we're ascending a little bit higher into the sky, I would say, but we even go higher than the sky in the end. Very smooth.
So behind that enemy to the right that you saw Beuchii hit, there's actually a crane there. And so it's very easy to either A, get hit by that guy and not hit the crane at all, or just fly past him and not hit either.
Yep.
And completely miss it in casual play.
And so here we're actually going to hit the right booster. So these geysers are the new introduction in World 6, which can launch you sideways. So if Beuchii were going to hit one of those boosters, she would get launched sideways. And basically, back there, she entered the rightmost booster just so that she could alter the path with the spin attack again, and basically skip this loop-de-loop with the purple boosters you can see in the back there as we go across this perilous little railing. This is a little scary, but luckily you do run through a checkpoint right before you do that railing section, which is very nice to us. But it is definitely a check your how good can you move Hana, because if you move her just a little bit to the left or the right, you're gonna fall.
Definitely the scariest section for me in this level. Even though there are several instances in this level where you can just go a tiny bit too far to the left or right, and you're falling eternally.
Yeah. Well, not eternally, but probably just for longer than you would like, you know what I mean?
Well, sooner or later you would probably land on some kind of ground, just not the way you want to yet.
True. And basically we're going to make our way through here. We're going to avoid those guys. You actually saw Beuchii take a very wide turn around those geysers. That's because those hitboxes are way too big.
Yes.
For no reason. Bro, you will be like 18 years away from it, and you will still get hit. And you're going to be like, dude... it just swallows you up, and then you're like, well, I guess I'm flying off to my death. Don't worry about it.
To eternity and beyond.
Yeah. And so here, 6.2 actually introduces railings again, but again reskin, where a lot of the railings, I think most of them, if not all of them in this level, do not have boosters at the end of them. And so what that means is that you actually have to input a jump whenever you get off of these railings. And so you're going to see Beuchii do it kind of early, because it's very, very easy to just fall because you don't input your jump quick enough. Again, very nicely done. Keeping that straight line to collect all those cranes in one go is very difficult to do. As long as you collect the first one, you can actually jump back and get them, but still very nicely done that we are able to do that in one go without having to turn back. But again, these railings are kind of precarious, so you're going to see Beuchii jump probably a little early, but that is for the best, because literally if you wait like a little bit more,
you will
fall
just
and
fall
not get
down,
your jump.
yeah. And you even get a small delay until you can jump again.
Yep. So you even fall like further down too, which is really cool. How did you not get hit? What the heck?
I don't know.
We're
just gonna take
the hitboxes. She studied the hitboxes so well.
Yeah. And then here we're gonna kind of just again take the path. You see the cranes veering off to the left, and we're just gonna kind of precariously jump through here.
The jump after that next bubble is still the most scary thing probably in the entire game for me. Even scarier than 7-2. Because I never really know the timing, but she did it perfectly.
Yeah, very, very well done. That timing can be a bit tricky just because of the depth perception that you have. And these railings especially are notorious for just like sending you off to the depths. I've lost so many runs to those railings, and I don't want to talk about it. So we're not. We're instead going to talk about this sick hundo run. And here we're actually going to jump down here to this booster and not the one up to the right. This is because there's one more final ladder because we need to have the second A in order to spell Hana's name. That is how spelling works and operates.
But what if we copy the first one?
Ooh, that's true. We could Control C, Control V, and it could all be good. But unfortunately, I don't think the game allows us to do that. So
unfortunate. Would say
new glitch.
Also, scary jump, and she made it. Nice.
Very nice. And then 6.2 is another one where the end zone's kind of a little hidden behind all these crystals. But we're just gonna go through, and now we have a new railing. Hint, hint. This is what the railings are gonna look like in the next level, World 7, which will actually be the final level of this run as we clear those boosters.
Yeah, that happens.
Get there with no stress, no nothing.
You can overshoot
calm, cool,
that so easily.
It's so easy to overshoot. You go so fast.
Definitely never happened to me.
No, never happened to me either. I've never lost any runs there.
Totally not.
So, as Nastani already said, welcome to space.
Welcome to space. We are in the moon, and you're going to notice that we just hit a hyperspeed platform. And remember how I told you that you lose all your speed on the ground? Well, not on these purple platforms. These purple platforms basically maintain your hyperspeed. Oh, very nicely done.
Great.
That's actually a very, very tight strat where you jump right at the bottom of those stairs and you collect all of them going up. And that very, very nicely done. We ended that with 61, which means that you did hit all of them. So very, very, very good. It's actually a very, very hard strat to do. This also introduces these disappearing platforms as well, which also keep our hyperspeed, which is fun for us. And there's another one right there where you can input a jump or a spin attack to basically hover right below the ground. But again, these are very, very tight inputs, and so if you do it slightly too late, you lose a little bit, but it's all good, And that is the notorious stair where you do just get grinded down to like a halt. I don't know why that specific stair
totally kills your speed. It's crazy.
Which is why we just avoid all stairs in the run, because of that one. Because that one for sure does it. So we're like, well, what if the other ones do it? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, we're too afraid because of that one.
Just got that PTSD, you know. But we're just gonna kind of go through here, making our way very nice momentum conservation through there. Again, I believe I mentioned this, but if I didn't, whenever you see Beuchi landing on the ground after getting hyperspeed, you're going to notice a lot of times she's going to input a jump as soon as she lands. This is because you can maintain some of that momentum from the hyperspeed before you get slowed down all the way. If you
manage to jump again within 1 or 2 frames.
Yeah. It's not like super tight, but like the sooner you jump, the more time you save, basically. And here we're gonna kind of take an intentional hit there, because since we have so much momentum, you can kind of just take a hit there and it's fine. And also you kind of just get you get health going through checkpoints as well. So even if you take a little hit, you'll be fine because you'll just regain the health, right? And here we're going to go through, again, these platforms are disappearing, but again, we have a decent amount of calorie frames, so we should be all good here. We're going to get some of that speed from the hyperspeed and basically just do a little loop-de-loop around. And the loop-de-loops are deceptively very, very difficult because the planet is like rounded, so it's kind of very easy to just accidentally touch the side of it and just lose all your speed.
Yeah, they're my biggest time loss in the entire run, actually.
Yeah, because just like that, you can just barely touch it, and you're like, dude, my pinky toe hit that.
Either that, or you can also very, very easily just shoot past one of the frames, and then you have to go back and have to touch the ground.
Yeah. Right there, you saw Beuchi jump at the very end of that hyperspeed, keeps a bit more of it, and then we're going to close out 7-1, which if you noticed, we didn't collect a single letter, and we're entering the goal. This is because in 7-1, there are no letters to collect. And in a similar vein, in 7-2, there are no cranes. So there are no cranes, there are no letters. So this is actually 7-2's the level where we're actually going to just play any percent now. Welcome back to any percent, guys. I'm sure you missed it. Which means that this is just any percent, which byproduct makes it pretty scary, because we are not going to hit any checkpoints. And
yeah,
if you
this
notice,
This is definitely the scariest level in the entire game, and it's right at the end. It's definitely the biggest run killer, and we collect one single checkpoint right at the beginning, and that's it.
Yeah, so if you take a tumble, you're very sad about it. But we're gonna do some fun skips here, where we're gonna jump off of that railing. Instead of riding it all the way in the circle, you can jump off of it at the very beginning, and then just go to the branch. Which, if you notice, the branches are back. Why is that? And that's because 7-2 actually reintroduces all the levels, and you basically go backwards through every single level in the game. And so now we're in World 4, which, if you notice, the music was going the whole time, but the notes weren't on the screen the whole time. And so the thing that makes this level so difficult is because you are on a cycle from the moment you arrive in this level.
That's not.
And so you need, so ideally you want these platforms to line up with you. So you actually saw Beuchi had to wait there for a little bit. Because if you make even one tiny mistake, like how initially when she went through that checkpoint and hit the thing, she stepped on the ground for half a second, you know what I mean, and then jumped on the railing. That will throw off the cycle, which makes playing 7-2 optimally very, very difficult, as well as just, dying, right? Because you have to deal with these platforms, which are just in general just very hard to deal with. But that's the main thing that really just can eat you a lot of time. But thankfully, after we clear these platforms, we have a couple more scary jumps. But the World 4 section is definitely the most concerning part about the level. But we definitely are not out of the weeds yet, as we arrive back into World 3 with these with the slides and the palm trees. And then right here, we're going to make our way back into the World 2 section. And so I kind of mentioned this before, but we keep hyperspeed through bouncy platforms, through boosters, and most importantly, through blue bubbles. So you're going to see, we're going to fly through these blue bubbles. If you have played this game casually, you will know that these blue bubbles are very, very slow. But since we kept the hyperspeed into the blue bubbles, we just make them go really, really quickly, and we save a ton of time there. But since we're going straight over a checkpoint there, we do not collect a checkpoint there, right? We are avoiding the checkpoint in order to go really, really quickly. And right there, we jumped on those platforms, avoiding the checkpoint again, which is a big thing.
Oh no, you missed the elevator.
Keep not getting checkpoints. Yeah, we accidentally just hit that elevator.
It's unfortunate. Oh, wait.
Oh, hey, cool.
Where are we?
We're up at the top. It's good. That is elevator skip, and basically elevator skip saves literally 20 seconds. If you just hit the side of the elevator and then die, you'll basically just death abuse, because whenever you touch the elevator, you activate the checkpoint above. So we just hit the side of the elevator, die, and then we just make our way up.
And now we're
in nice time save.
And now we're in territory that if you played the game already casually, you might actually not have seen this level. Because as we said before, usually every level has two acts. This one has 3, because if you collect all the letters in the game, you will get this secret level here that you have to clear as well. And it's completely wide, which is part of the story. And if you want to know the story, you will have to collect all the notes and all the letters. And then read it for yourself.
Do not ask me why the level is all white, because I literally do not know. So... Well, I didn't know that was part of the story.
You will have to buy the game, play it, and collect all letters. And
It's
to be
only
fair, the
$5.
game is only $5, guys. And there is a ginormous DLC coming out soon, TM, that will be completely free as well.
Yeah, the DLC will be completely free, so...
That is a good thing. And speaking of good things, the nice part about 7X is that it's actually it's a mostly chill level. You can obviously make some mistakes here, but this is a very safe level. We kind of reward it with a more chill level after the absolute just tough battle you have in 7-2.
Mm-hmm.
But it chills down a little bit, and we're just going to kind of tap it in as we get to the end of the run. This is true ending, just like Noxus mentioned, so if this is unlocked not by collecting all the cranes, but by collecting all the letters specifically. So you don't actually have to get all the cranes in order to unlock this level. If you just want to play through the level, you can just collect the letters, and you don't have to technically collect all the cranes. Yeah.
And the secrets at every level, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So
the
time is
purple
coming up
platforms that we
soon as
jump
well.
on. Yeah.
These platforms here fall down, and I definitely didn't forget that several times and almost died.
Definitely
Alright, time's coming up very soon when we fade to black, and time.
Amazingly done, Beauty.
Ooh,
Very,
yeah, that was
very
pretty
nicely done.
good, pretty good.
It was really great.
We failed some things here and there, but we did most of the cool stuff.
Yeah.
You did hit a lot of sauce. So it was very, very good.
The only thing you didn't really make was the 1 and 3-1, which is not always in our control.
It's literally like I think it's like a 2-frame window to hit that attack. It's really dumb. Like, and it also saves 2 seconds. So you're
It's
like,
very
is it worth
tight.
it? 2 seconds. But that is kind of the thing when you get up to the top, is like, I want to go for these 2 seconds because, there's not too much time saved to grab.
Let's see real quick what the in-game time was.
That's true.
Ooh, sub
sub
50.
50.
Nice.
Let's go.
Very nice.
Very good.
That's basically 2 minutes over my PB. So very good run for the amount of very tricky and risky strats. Pretty good. That's pretty good.
Very good. Sub 50 is very hard to get, just in general, especially in a marathon.
To me, Hana will always be the chill category.
Yeah.
Even
for
though we
sure.
have some strats now that are a little stressful, but for most of the time you can really just go with the flow and have a great time.
Yeah, it's very nice to pick up because you just have to follow the path basically, and the game is very nice to play, very satisfying to move around. Yeah, just great game overall. Shoutouts to DK for making it. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this run. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to both of my commentators for doing like the heavy lifting of the commentary. I just cannot concentrate on this run and do commentary at the same time.
It is difficult to do, for sure.
Very difficult.
And if you want to pick up that game, maybe even for speedrunning, we will absolutely welcome you in the Discord and help you with everything you want to know.
Yeah, we're all very nice and welcoming, and we're all there to have fun with the game.
Yep.
But yeah, if you like this, if you wanna follow me, I am Beuchiism on Twitch, and you too, if they wanna follow you.
Don't follow me. You don't want to do it.
do follow him. They're great.
Just follow Beuchi.
No. This is like an us thing, not just me.
No.
Follow Nestani on Twitch.
I don't know who you're talking about. I am Comedy Frog. I do not have a Twitch channel, guys. That's not me. I don't have one, alright? Okay. Do not follow me. Just follow Beuchiism on Twitch.
Okay, if you want to see some run of me, then follow Noxus94.
Alright, well, that's it for us, so thanks a lot for having us. Bye-bye!
Alright, yes.
Bye, everyone.
GG, and thank you all for showing off that wonderful game.